After months of campaigning and political ads, Election Day is right around the corner. Tonight on NewsLink Indiana, the races to watch in Muncie, in Indiana, and across the country.
Plus, the local food bank making a difference in a new way. How they're showing Muncie the reality of poverty, coming up.
And rain moving across the area right now, but we have a big cool down coming later in the week. I'll have the details coming up.
From the heart of Ball State University, live from the Unified Media Newsroom, NewsLink Indiana starts right now.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for being with us. I'm Jeremy Masukovich.
And I'm Camille Breck.
The 2018 midterm election is tomorrow, with Democrats and Republicans battling for control of the House and Senate.
NewsLink Indiana's Brenton Roy is live in the newsroom. Brenton?
Just like in 2016, Indiana is back in the political spotlight with a gridlock tie in the polls between incumbent Democratic Senator Joe Donnelly and Republican rival Mike Braun. 6 other states are currently toss-ups, but pundits are saying Republicans are likely to keep a majority in the Senate, but it is a completely different story in the House, as this election is looking similar to back in 2010 when Republicans regained a majority in the House halfway through President Obama's first term, as typically the party in control of the White House underperforms in the midterms. Yesterday, Obama held a rally in Gary for Donnelly, and Trump just finished a rally in Fort Wayne for Braun. I caught up with a couple students that plan on voting tomorrow to get their thoughts on who should come out on top.
I want to see the Republican Party come out on top because I feel their values align with mine. What they have, I feel like they're not pushing the narrative that everything that's going on with especially with the Kavanaugh hearings and stuff like that. I'm just sick and tired of people just trying to pass the buck and versus actually looking for the facts. I want the facts versus the feelings.
And I'm hoping that Lucy Brinton will turn out. She's on the Libertarian ticket, but also in my district, Derek Camp, who is a Democrat, is running, and I hope he turns out on top.
And no matter which party comes out on top, at least Wednesday, the political ads will stop. Live in the newsroom, I'm Brenton Roy, NewsLink Indiana.
Thanks, Brenton. Polls in Indiana close tomorrow night at 6.
And the Political Science Department will be hosting a watch party at 7 in Burkhart 109.
With Election Day right around the corner, many Ball State students are getting out to have their voices heard. NewsLink Indiana's Tucker White tells us how students are making their way to the polls.
Put you on a machine here.
With midterm elections coming up, it's important to get your vote in. Ball State student Kristen Irvin is one of many college students who are far from home but still found a way to get their voice heard.
So I had an absentee ballot that I had, and so I just had them send it and then I mail it in. So
this midterm has a special place in Kristen's heart.
Well, this is the first election that I was able to vote in, so I was excited to vote.
Kristen is ready to be a part of the change.
Because I'm from Indiana, you want to see a change happen and be a part of the change when you're able to.
There are several other student voters who are eager to vote in this midterm election.
If you don't vote, then change won't happen, so you got to do your part.
Just hearing other stories of people wishing they could vote, it does make me appreciate the opportunity of having to vote.
I mean, it's important to try and get your voice out there, even if you think it's not going to mean much.
In Muncie, Tucker White, NewsLink, Indiana.
All right, a lot of people are going to be out and about on their way over to the to cast their vote tomorrow, so hopefully there's some good weather, so make it an easy commute for them.
Yeah, definitely, and just waiting in line for the polls, you just never know. So hopefully it'll be nice outside with that fall weather. Gabe, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Camille and Jeremy, a rainy evening at the moment. We have some heavier rain pushing its way through eastern portions of the viewing area into areas like Winchester and Richmond as it's going to make its way off to the east. That rain's going to continue through much of the evening. A soggy view of the Scramble Light right now, 54 degrees out there. Winds picking up out of the east-southeast at 15 miles per hour. That's causing some of that warmer air that we're seeing with temperatures in the 50s right now. And as we make our way through the evening, temperatures stick around in the 50s for the most part, only dropping down to 54 by 11, 53 by 1. Rain remaining constant through most of the night, although we'll see a little break in the action as we get later on towards 1 a.m. with those winds, though, remaining constant. As I said earlier, a big cool down's coming later in the week. I'll have the details for that as well as your Election Day forecast in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Gabe. President Trump says he plans to follow tradition by making changes to the cabinet after midterm elections.
Administrations make changes usually after midterms. and probably will be right in that category too. I think it's very customary.
Trump also said that he was surprised by a question about whether he planned to replace Defense Secretary Jim Mattis. He also said Ryan Zinke has done a very good job as Interior Secretary, despite concerns raised about his conduct, including one that's been referred to the Justice Department for further investigation. Trump says he'll review any reports about Zinke's conduct.
President Trump held a rally in Fort Wayne tonight as part of his efforts to campaign for Republican candidates in close races across the country. The president primarily campaigning for Republican Senate candidate Mike Braun. He says he wants to unite the country, but the Republicans are driving the Democrats crazy.
The fact is, I shouldn't say this because I want to unite. I do eventually want to unite, but the fact is we're driving them crazy. We're driving them crazy. They don't know what to do. They're going loco. That's all right. Hopefully it's going to all come together someday like a beautiful puzzle.
Democrat incumbent Senator Joe Donnelly also campaigned in Fort Wayne just hours before the president.
Former President Barack Obama also made an appearance in Indiana. He was campaigning for Indiana Senate candidate Joe Donnelly this week. Obama spoke about what the upcoming midterm elections mean for the country.
America's at a crossroads. The health care of millions is on the ballot. A fair shake for working families is on the ballot. Perhaps most importantly, the character of our country is on the ballot.
He also commented on the amount of indictments that have occurred in the Trump administration.
It's been a midterm year like none other, and with Election Day being tomorrow, candidates across the country are making one final push to get out votes. Karen Kafa is in Washington tonight with the very latest.
President Trump taking on the midterms with a final blitz of 11 rallies in 6 days.
This is one of the most important elections of our entire lives.
The president seizing on immigration fears in the final days to motivate voters in border states like Arizona, Nevada, and Texas, and hitting states that went his way in 2016, Missouri, West Virginia, Indiana, and Tennessee, all crucial to control of the U.S. Senate. With 35 seats on the ballot, Democrats need a net gain of 2, a goal that became more politically complex after the Supreme Court confirmation battle over Brett Kavanaugh energized Republicans.
This is an opportunity, I think, to have a long-term impact on the country.
But Republicans also face the headwinds that come with a president with approval ratings below 50% and whose incendiary rhetoric may alienate moderates, women, and independents.
Healthcare is on the ballot. You vote, you might save a life.
Democrats see an opportunity with a message of protecting healthcare and entitlement programs in Republican crosshairs.
We need to fix it. We need to strengthen the Affordable Care Act, not dismantle it. And that's what our new leaders will do.
Suburban districts will be key to whether they make the net gain of 23 seats needed to flip the House. That's where Republicans will lean on their record, highlighting low unemployment and the economy.
Be sure to stay with NewsLink Indiana as your election headquarters for 2018. We'll have live team coverage beginning tomorrow night at 9 from the Democratic and Republican watch parties, in addition to the University watch party. Plus, we'll be featuring results from across Delaware County and the state. Again, that will be tomorrow night beginning at 9 o'clock.
Coming up, we'll have the latest on the shooting at Noblesville West Middle School in May. What's happening to the 13-year-old boy who pleaded guilty?
And what's next for USA Gymnastics following the Larry Nassar sex abuse scandal? That and more just ahead.
No more, he didn't mean it.
No more, she seems problem.
No more, she was drunk.
No more, he was drunk.
No more, she was asking for it.
No more, he didn't mean it.
No more, why didn't she tell anyone? No more, we don't talk about that.
No more bystanding.
No more ignorance.
No more excuses.
No more.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that! That's disgusting! Oh, poop already! I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
After retiring from the NFL, I've been able to spend a lot more time coaching my daughter's basketball teams. It's something I love to do. Through our games and our tournaments, we see all who's coaching our kids. Do they have the proper training and screening it would take for me to be comfortable with my daughters playing for that coach? Our Youth Basketball Association made the decision to use trusted coaches to screen and train all of our coaches. I'm a trusted coach. Are you?
Welcome back. The 13-year-old boy from Noblesville West Middle School who admitted to shooting a classmate and teacher had a search history about various shootings. The boy looked up things like Columbine, Sandy Hook, and other U.S. school shootings. He also looked up a blueprint for the Noblesville West. In court today, the boy's attorney read a statement where he apologized to victims. A juvenile court judge could order him to spend time in a mental health treatment center or a juvenile detention center. The decision will come at a later date. The U.S. Olympic Committee has begun the process of removing USA Gymnastics' status as the governing body of the sport at the Olympic level. In an open letter to the gymnastics community, CEO Sarah Hirschland told members that they deserve better. The organization has admitted to making repeated mistakes throughout the Larry Nassar sex abuse scandal. This comes on the same day that former USA Gymnastics president Steve Penny pleaded not guilty to a charge of tampering with evidence in the scandal.
The Second Harvest Food Bank put on a poverty simulation this evening at the Union Missionary Baptist Church. The simulation was put on in order to inform the community of the horrors of poverty. As the war on poverty continues, it's organizations like Second Harvest that make a difference right here in Muncie.
So the purpose of a poverty simulation is to better help the community understand the prevalence of poverty and what we need to do as a community to understand it. What we know is you don't have to know anything about poverty. You don't even have to care about poverty. But poverty and the effects of poverty will rip the fabric of our community so much so that we won't be able to recognize it.
However, this simulation experiment is not the end of the food bank's work. As they plan on a great turnout tonight, their attention is focused on what they could do in the future. After the event tonight, Second Harvest plans to continue their work and spread awareness within the community.
We can hold these all the time, but not everybody will show up. So continuing to provide resources not only for people in poverty, but people who may not have experienced it, so they can become allies and really understand the cause.
For more information on the Second Harvest Food Bank, you can call them at 765-287-8698 or visit their website at www.curehunger.org. Recent reports from the Richard M. Fairbanks Foundation reveal opioids and tobacco killed over 14,000 Indiana residents last year. The report also says that Indiana has seen a decline in fatal overdoses since 2011. That's despite of a rapid rise in the use of synthetic opioid fentanyl. Moving forward, the foundation recommends raising taxes on cigarettes and increasing access to safe disposal sites for opioids. All right, we're going to throw it over to Gabe. What do you have for us?
Yeah, mild night tonight. Temperatures remaining in the mid-50s, but that and the rain comes to an end. I'll tell you when, right after the break.
For those who serve today, and those who served before them, for those whose sacrifice will never end, the Gary Sinise Foundation shows its gratitude through entertainment, outreach, and life-changing support. We can never give enough, but we can always give a little more. Find out how you can donate at GarySiniseFoundation.org.
Sometimes there's no do-over. Some things you can't rewind. That's when an extra safety step could mean the difference between a close call and a call to 911. Simple steps save lives. Learn more at poolsafely.gov.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
Of all the things you've done with your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community, which means your stuff can be more powerful than you think. Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Welcome back. Gabe, what do you have for us in weather?
Yeah, mild day today. Overall temperatures in the mid-50s, though we're starting to see some rain move into the area now this evening, overspreading most of the viewing area now, although it's starting to move its way on off to the east. It's all part of a much larger system, low pressure centered over central Iowa, and a cold front extending down onto the south. And this rain's pushing on eastward across Indiana now, bringing some severe weather on down to the south. So as I said, behind all this rain is a much cooler air mass. You can see that on the temperatures in the mid-40s behind that cold front, whereas here temperatures are pretty mild overall. In the mid-50s, 54 here in Muncie, 55 in Shelbyville, 51 degrees in Lafayette. We're going to see those temperatures stick around in the 50s for the most part, only bottoming out around 50 degrees this evening. The rain sticks around for the most part, as well as the wind is going to really be on the increase this evening out of the southwest at around 10 to 20 miles an hour. Timing out that rain for you this evening, we'll start to see some clearing after midnight for the most part. Those showers still around most of the viewing area, although early tomorrow morning we'll start to see conditions clear out for the most part. Here's around lunchtime, 11 a.m. Start to see those winds will be on the increase during the day tomorrow. Here's a look at midnight tonight. Winds, gusts around 25 to 30 miles per hour and continuing on into the day tomorrow. Here's a look at tomorrow morning. Gusts still well over 25 miles per hour. So if you're heading out tomorrow and want to be prepared for those showers, maybe grab the rain jacket instead of the umbrella during the day tomorrow. Timing out your day, again, 9 a.m. We could see a few scattered showers still around the area. Temperatures around 49 degrees, clearing out by lunchtime, and 53 degrees by 5 p.m. Sun start to come out. But again, notice those winds remaining pretty constant throughout much of the day, around 20 miles an hour with gusts up to 25 to 30 miles per hour possible as well. Now we'll start to see those winds shift from to the southeasterly to northwesterly, and that's going to bring in much cooler temperatures. Notice the 6 to 10 day outlook has temperatures well below average for our region, and in some cases over the next 6 to 10 days we could see temperatures as far as 20 degrees below average for this time of year, and that's reflected on the 7-day forecast. See temperatures falling down into the mid-40s, although the benefit of this is we see a drier air mass move in. Possible rain Friday morning, maybe a wintry mix if we see those temperatures fall a little bit further, but notice by the weekend temperatures struggling to reach 40 degrees, only 37 degrees for a high on Saturday, so chilly conditions. Temperatures well below average, so if you're a fan of the fall, almost winter-like weather now, you're not feeling too bad about this forecast. But if not, if you like the warmth, it's a little disappointing.
Yeah, I can't say I'm a fan. I would much rather it be more summer-like, but I'll deal with it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, 20 degrees below, that seems a little crazy. Thankfully, we're moving into the indoor sports season, so that's where we're going to throw it over to Colton. What do we got coming up in sports?
Well, you know, the weather might be cooling down, but hoops is just getting heated up. And the Ball State Cardinals kick off their season tomorrow night at home. This and more when we come back.
Isn't this perfect?
It was my pleasure. May I?
Adam, I can't thank you enough for saving me from that sweepstakes scam. I could have lost everything.
It was a classic cat and mouse game. Remember, you never have to pay to play.
You're my hero. After all these years. What's the matter, Adam? Cat got your tongue?
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self, and I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
I'm a teacher. Let me tell you what I make. I make learning a privilege, not a chore, and frustration a tool, not an obstacle. I make working hard seem easy and giving up impossible. I make an old subject feel like a fresh thought and unconventional methods common. I'm a teacher. I make more.
Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. I'm Colton Howard with sports. The men's basketball team took to the floor in Worthen Arena today as they get ready for their home opener. After their exhibition game Friday, the team is excited to get the 2018-2019 season underway. NewsLink Indiana's Rachel Berry has the story.
It's that time of year again, and basketball season is finally back. The Ball State men's basketball team is pumped for their opening game tomorrow night. After a win against UIndy in an exhibition game on Friday, the Cardinals are ready to take on Indiana State. Players return this season, including senior guard Taylor Persons.
I'm ready for basketball season. You know, I'm just ready to be in here in front of our great fans, and you know, I'm just looking forward to compete again. I love being a competitor and going to war every game with my brothers, and just having a great time with them, and really just showing what we've worked all summer for, and just strive to get better.
Another player to keep an eye on this season is senior 6'10" center Trey Moses. Head coach James Whitford is back this year for his 6th season.
Work on our chemistry on the court every day, but it's always different when the lights are on and you're playing a style of play that's different than you see every day in practice. You've got to make, you know, game time decisions, and it'll be a different feeling for us having Taylor back out there at the one, but we've worked on it all fall, and so we should be fine, but that's a key element for tomorrow.
The team will host Indiana State tomorrow in the season opener for the 133rd all-time meeting in the oldest rivalry in program history. In Muncie, Rachel Berry, NewsLink, Indiana.
Tip-off is set for 7 tomorrow evening in Worthen Arena. We'll have the highlights and recap tomorrow night, same time, same place, right here on NewsLink Indiana. Moving over to soccer, Ball State women's soccer team has made a run in the MAC tournament, beating Buffalo and Western Michigan. Then it was on to Bowling Green in the MAC championship, competing for the hardware and a birthplace in the NCAA tournament. At Bowling Green University, the Cards took on the Falcons on what would be a very close game. First up in the 24th minute, Marin Kennedy from Bowling Green hooks it against the left pole. Falcons up 1-0. Ball State would tie it up in forced overtime and PKs. Simmons with a rocket into the back of the net. Cox with a rocket of her own evens up the score. Dombrowski for the lead, but Catherine DeVoe knocks it away with a leaping block, and Bayron with the game winner. Bowling Green storms the field in celebration, earning a spot in the NCAA tournament and sending Ball State home. Bowling Green will move on to play Penn State in the first round of the NCAA tournament this Friday. Ball State will have the rest of the semester to recover after a successful season. Well,
You know, when one season closes, another one opens up. So I'm happy we get
Absolutely.
to transition into basketball and see what they got going on this year.
And you know what? Indoors, a little bit warmer for the fans. I'm expecting full attendance tomorrow night for the home opener.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to go to that.
Coming up, one form of housing is seeing a higher demand. We'll tell you which age group is most open to living in a tiny house.
And one popular music group is reuniting for a tour. Find out where they're going next.
Hey, did you know 2.4 million loving cats and dogs in shelters and rescues need our help to find a home? Let's go to theshelterpetproject.org and meet a few who are in a shelter near you. Harlow, oh, she's one great listener and loves to hear all your stories. My kind of cat. Cerulo is a sweet, goofy boy who's eager to please. Sounds just like another dog I know. So go to theshelterpetproject.org, search your local shelters and rescues, and go for a cuddle with your next best friend. Adopt.
Problems. The ones nobody talks about at cocktail parties. We go looking for them. No matter the obstacles, no matter the odds, we surround a community's most critical problems, and we fight. United Way fights for the health, education, and financial stability of every person in every community. Will you?
It doesn't take a scientist to cure hunger or a fancy economist to create safe housing. It takes imagination, creativity, sweat equity. When I think of kids going to school hungry, hunger, homelessness, in this land of plenty, seriously? Come on, we could fix this. Help out, or don't. The choice is yours.
Here's your sandwich, miss.
Oh, thank you.
And your burger.
Awesome, thank you.
And your bowl of boiling water, sir.
Welcome back. Time now to take a look at what's trending.
Joining us now is NewsLink Indiana's Michelle Kaufman. Michelle, what do you have for us?
Good evening. So if you really want to see the Spice Girls in concert, you got to get with your friends and get tickets to their reunion tour. Now, the group announced the tour on social media today. 4 of the original members, Emma Baby Spice, Bunton Jerry Ginger Spice, Howell Horner, Melanie Sporty Spice Chisholm, and Melanie Scary Spice Brown, will be together on stage again. Posh Spice Victoria Beckham will not be a part of the reunion. The Spice World UK tour kicks off June 2019. Tickets go on sale this Saturday, November 10th. There is now a higher demand for tiny houses in America. According to a recent poll released by the National Association of Home Builders, more than half of U.S. adults say they would consider downsizing, but not all generations feel the same way. More than half of millennials and Gen Xers are open to the idea, but only 45% of baby boomers and 29% of seniors feel the same way. Location is another factor that could affect interest in tiny homes. Building codes and zoning laws in some cities could make large-scale tiny home sales harder. So guys, would you live in a tiny house?
I can't say I would want to, but I mean, the demand is great.
I mean, I tell you, with how expensive rent is around campus, I might just find a lot to build my own tiny house at this point. I mean,
yeah, if I could have a tiny house, maybe on like a nice oceanside cliff with weather far warmer than what we have this week coming up in Muncie, I would be fine. No complaints from me from a tiny house in the right location. So the 7-day forecast for Muncie is chilly, as I mentioned. Temperatures falling down into the 40s overall. It's possible rain Friday morning, maybe becoming a wintry mix before temperatures fall even further into the weekend. Temperatures struggling to reach 40 degrees, which is far below normal.
That's all tonight for NewsLink Indiana. Be sure to join us again tomorrow night at 9, streaming live on NewsLink Indiana Facebook page.
And for news anytime, anywhere, go to ballstatedaily.com. Have a great night.